Welcome to Popplers Music Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Gratton, and every episode we sit down with the voices shaping the future of music education, from classroom educators and university professors to composers and professional musicians who inspires the next generation of musicians. I hope you enjoy today's conversation. Welcome to the Popplers Podcast. Today I have a very special guest, Greg Gilpin. I've known Greg for years. He's worked with us at the Popplers Reading Clinic. I've had the chance of seeing him at conventions, and we all know Greg, for his compositions. However, not everybody knows other, aspects to his career, other aspects of Greg's life. I won't allude too much, but he may help people with hoarding problems and, decluttering. So anyway, I hope that you enjoy this conversation with Greg Gilpin as much as I did. Let's dive in. Every year, Popplers Music exhibits at NMEA, hosted in Lincoln, Nebraska. This year, Greg Gilpin was a guest conductor and clinician for the middle school honor choir. When I found out that Greg was going to be in Lincoln, I thought it was a perfect chance for us to connect. Greg is so full of life, and he's had such an impact on music education through his work that I always leave our time together inspired. Although he is a man that needs no introduction, for those of you who may not know Greg Gilpin was born in 1964. He's a distinguished American composer, arranger, conductor, and musician based in Indianapolis, Indiana. He earned his bachelor's degree in vocal music education from Northwest Missouri State University. As an ASCAP award-winning choral composer and arranger, Gilpin has hundreds of published works to his credit. He served as the director of educational choral publications for Shawnee Press, a prominent choral music publisher. Gilpin is highly sought after as a conductor, leading performances at renowned venues such as Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center in New York City, as well as international locations like the Sydney Opera House and Royal Festival Hall in London. His collaborations include work with artists like Sandy Patty and the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra. In 2020, Gilpin expanded his career by becoming a certified financial coach and personal organizer, founding Maestro Organizing. This endeavor led to appearances on network affiliates and the TV show Hoarders. Gilpin's dedication to music education and his diverse talents have made him a respected figure in the choral community. Greg, thank you for joining us today and taking time to chat at NMEA here in Lincoln, Nebraska, of all places.
Beautiful Lincoln.
Yeah, absolutely. So part of the conversation today, we'll chat about what you've been up to here in Lincoln and why we're here, and let's chat about music and your composition history, and we'll cover a variety of topics. But
that's good.
What brought you to Lincoln?
I conducted the middle school honor choir. There was 270 wonderful middle schoolers, and they were well prepared, and we did great music, I thought, and it was a wall of middle school sound, but it was wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, you end up doing events like this,
time all year long. Yeah, well, usually fall and winter is when all the conferences are, so it's usually then gets me through March, but it's been busy. This year was busy. I've got quite a few next year. People ask, and I usually say, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's my classroom, that's where I get to be with the kids and get to teach, and I love it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, being able to go and work with the kiddos, and presumably, work with your music with the
we always do a little bit of mine. I try not to do too much at the one concert, but usually one or two pieces.
Yeah.
And they want that because they want the kids to meet another composer
or
arranger, and we get to talk about the music. And
and then I bet it's an interesting experience to see, if you had an educational angle with the piece that you were working with and actually getting to work with the choir, hear that come to life. Is that?
Well, yes. And if I'd never, we write music and we don't always work with a choir while we're writing it. And many times I have worked with a choir on a brand new piece. Maybe it's already in print, and I'll go, oh, that doesn't work. Should put a rest there. If I'd done this, and you learn a lot, and then you apply that, to the next piece. Yeah, many times I've gone in and went, that doesn't work. I thought that would work, and it doesn't work. Or it worked beautifully. It's exactly what I wanted. Yeah.
Sure.
It's exciting.
And that tie to continue educating and connect with the students and also the directors, I imagine.
The directors. Yeah, the kids are different. Kids are different every year, every generation. And you got to be with them. You got to figure it out. And of course, as the generations pass, I get older and older. I used to be near their age. Now I'm, like the age of their grandfather, I guess. I even hate to say that. But, some of these kids are young. So
yep.
I feel like I'm their age. But it's interesting when we dialogue, about that and what they think of age and all that. But yeah, I feel like I'm young and I feel connected with them. And I think I do anyway.
Yeah.
And especially middle school. Middle school.
Yeah, it's a fun age.
Mental school. It's crazy. And you've got to either love it or hate, you can't take anything personal. Yep. They love you, they hate you. And that's just a rehearsal.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah. You brought your pieces that you had done worked on with us. This is the event.
What we did here, we did pieces that I love to do and things that were new for me. And John Lovett's festivals is amazing. I've used it a lot. This is the SAB. It is available many, many different voicings. And it is just the kids, they love it. Every time I do it, the kids love it. And the piece wonderful. I've done it a lot. It's been around, I don't even know what the copyright date, 1988 was the first, and it's wonderful.
Okay, so it's kind of last one. Pieces.
Would you please write another one that's different, but like that? He hasn't done it yet. But anyway, it's fantastic. And then I got a relatively new piece, and it's a Torres Strait Islands piece. Kids love it. It's real rhythmic. We add percussion. There's percussion parts in it. And it's just one of those great festival, multicultural, really, really more fun than I thought it would be. I thought it would be fun when I arranged it, sure, but when we do it, it's just really, really great. This is Ave Maria. This is a piece that's been around a lot, and I've used it quite a few times. I've got an adult group that goes to Europe every year, and this is a piece that we do. It's SAB. It's really great for older adults as well, but the junior high was beautiful on it. I've done it with high school. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous heading of the Ave Maria text, and that was really nice. And then
enjoyed this.
Oh yeah, they did. I think it was their most difficult piece. Okay. It's middle school and
adult choir.
Quiet, yeah, and you have to sing quietly, and they learn to watch me because I give them lots of direction during it.
Sure.
So it's a good piece that they have to learn to watch a director.
Yeah.
Which I hope goes back to their classroom, to their own teacher of watching. You have to watch. Those are part of the reasons I pick pieces. It's about what are we going to learn? What are we going to learn? What are these kids going to learn that their teachers need them to learn? And the teachers have tried, and I'm a new voice. I'm a new voice that can tell them exactly what their teachers have been saying all year long. That's my job, but it's a different voice.
As educators, we've all been.
Yeah.
And that's part of the educational experience. Yeah. Coming in and having these events. Even if it's something that the director has been telling them, they're in a new setting, they're with different people, new voices, telling them something similar, new connections are being made.
Absolutely. When I tell the teachers in the back, they go, I know you've said this a million times, but they're going to hear it differently because somebody else is saying it.
Yeah. Yeah. They might finally say, oh, wow, my teacher knows what's going on. I have a very teacher.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the teacher's like rolling their eyes going, well, whatever works.
Yep.
And the other thing is 270 kids. How often do we get to sing in a choir that big?
Yes.
I asked this one, I bet a third or half. Their classroom was less than 28 people. They're rural schools, and now they get to be in a big choir.
Yeah.
And maybe they're the only tenor in their choir or the only tenor that cares.
Yep.
And now they're around other guys that want to sing or other altos or whatever it is. It's really a wonderful experience. And I'm glad they had 800 people audition.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it was fun. This is a new piece with Briley.
Okay.
I've done it a few times this year. They loved it. Really does well. We sing, we rise, we soar, very inspirational. And we did it. Usually I do it at the beginning or the end. I did it in the middle. It was great. It was great, right in the middle of the concert. So that was neat to figure that out.
Yeah.
And then Windy Nights, which is a Cynthia Gray, and it's been around a long time. And I'm telling you, they loved it. They knew it. It was memorized. They go, I go, do you got, this is the one when I pulled out, they went, yay, they cheered.
Yep.
And and we talked about the poetry in it.
Oh, okay.
And I learned a lot about what they thought it was about, and there was no wrong answers. We talked about the words, and that's really fun. I do that a lot.
Absolutely. It teaches students to think analytically, think, more critically.
Well, and they need to know, what are you singing about?
Yeah.
And so another person may go, like in that one, they go, well, I think it's the weather personified. And, all the other altos went, wow, never thought of that. Another person said, I think it's a robber. Another person said, I read about it. I know why Robert Louis Stevenson wrote it. Fantastic. Mm-hmm. So everybody got to share about that. And this is middle school.
Yeah.
That's great. And we ended with Rolla Dilworth's Climbing Up the Mountain Children. I have never done this one. I've always loved it. And I've never done it. And it brought the house down. It was great. This is a good piece. Okay. Now, teachers, Rollo, I'm sorry. I changed your ending. We slowed it down and did a big, long last phrase of climbing higher at the end. So I hope that's okay. But I just wanted to do that because it was our last piece. Yeah. And I give everyone permission to change whatever you want in my own pieces. If something doesn't work, you change it and you do it. And that's what's great about this. We all had it, but we put our own little touch on it. So
it was part of the performance.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great. It was fun. So we had good music. It ended up being good music. That sometimes doesn't always happen. You pick music you think everyone's going to like, and there might be one that the kids are like not connecting with at all. And we're like, okay, well, we got to do it. So let's, how we fix that? And teachers do the same thing. They pick music and go, my kids are not connecting with this.
Yeah.
Now it's under 3 months. Yeah. So figure something else out. Yeah. It's awesome. It was good event.
Well, I'm sure that they were, thankful to have you here. And
take Nebraska. Are you kidding? Great teaching, great music, a wonderful conference.
Oh, absolutely. Popplers has been coming for decades now.
Yeah.
Yep. So we look forward to being here every year. And it's a great event.
Yeah, I hope we get to come.
A lot of energy, well-supported music programs.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Lincoln is great.
It is. Yeah.
I'm not here very much, but it's like, it's great.
It's a fun city to come to. Downtown's nice. Restaurants are good.
Yeah.
It's just it's a nice area to go.
Come to Lincoln.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Come visit, especially during NMEA. Yeah. So, well, let's pivot a little bit. Tell me about how you got started in music.
Yeah. All right.
Tell us about your musical journey. Yeah.
Well, I'm from Missouri and I grew up in church and I played the piano. I hardly want to say that I started playing piano before I could read because back then we didn't read as early as people do now. So it sounds impressive, but maybe not as impressive. But anyway, before kindergarten, I was playing piano.
Yeah.
And I took lessons. We got a piano. My brother was playing and I wanted to do that. I did that. So anyway, I played in church. Beginning in 6th grade, I began playing for the Sunday school, and doing that. And then 7th and 8th grade, I began directing our little choir that was like a singing group. And I did that until I was a senior in high school. So
you started directing in middle school?
I started bossing people around musically in middle school and adults that were in my church. And I did that. And my music teacher was my sister-in-law. And my brother was a music teacher. So
your family had a lot of skills involved in music.
I heard the good and the bad about it all. Yeah. And honestly, I didn't want to go into music because of all that, because I was doing it. I was an all-state band. I was a trumpet player, very instrumentalist, trumpet player, French horn, all-state band, all-state choir. I did all that. I was in the musicals, all of that. I was busy. But I wanted to be originally I wanted to be a geologist. And then I want to be an archaeologist, and then I want to be an architect. I was going to be an architect. That's really one that I wanted to be. And I had a teacher in math that I didn't get along with.
Okay.
And it made me not like math. Later on, I loved math up until that moment, and I didn't like it anymore. And I went, well, I'm not going to go into architecture now. So it really changed. A bad teacher can change your direction. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's been a good life. So I thought, well, I had scholarships. I love music. I'll start out. Yeah. I'll go to school. Went to Northwest Missouri State. It was such a great teaching school, music education. And I went there and, you know, I love teaching. I love music. I love choral music. I love the choral art. And I got to do everything there. I thought, well, I'm going to keep doing that. And loved it. And then I got published in college.
Okay, so that was the first time you got published?
Yeah, my junior.
But you must have been writing music.
I hadn't written until, and I was writing songs and love songs. Yeah. And then I met a writer, Harry McFeeters, who used to write a lot. And she got me a hold of my first editor, Audrey Snyder, who is writing and editing to this day. She was my first editor. And they took the piece, my first piece. And I was, when it came out, I was student teacher.
First one you wrote?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It got published. That didn't happen all the time.
Right.
So
a lot of things.
I'm now student teaching in Lewis Central High School in Council Bluffs, which is Omaha, right there. I happen to be there. And we did my piece that was published. I got to conduct it and all that, and the choir did it, and it was such a, deal.
Absolutely.
And I thought, well, I want to keep doing that. Got my degree. And I thought, well, really, I'd like to do other things in music and not get a full-time job teaching. And the reason was, and this made all the difference in my life, the reason was not that I didn't want to teach. I just wanted to be able to do other things before I taught. And I thought, whatever I do musically, I'll be able to bring to the classroom. Sure. Which I have.
Yeah.
But I didn't want the paycheck. I was afraid of the paycheck. I thought, if I get a steady paycheck, I'm 22 years old and never had a steady paycheck. But I went, if I get a steady paycheck, I may never do anything else. And I don't want to just do that yet. So I moved to Indianapolis where they're recording studios.
Really thoughtful.
I know.
Gosh. Yeah, seriously.
So, it made all the difference. And I moved to Indianapolis. I part-time taught with the high school music teacher, the middle school, elementary. I did subbing. I was always doing the music stuff there. The high school wanted to hire me. I kept saying no. And I taught voice. I taught piano. I was arranging and writing. I got into studio work. I started doing jingles and doing studio work and backup singing. And then eventually I did more of that. I traveled with a gospel artist named Ray Boltz. And then I traveled with Andy Patty, which was she was a big artist in gospel music. Huge.
Wow. Okay.
Huge. And I traveled with her and did backup. And then I've worked with her ever since, off and on. And then I was being published more. And then that led to more conducting because they want you to come in. Now, the other thing that I did in the 80s, because I could do it in the 80s, was I did choreography. Because I did whatever musically I could do to pay the rent. I played in a country band called Debbie Patterson and the Hat Band. We all had to wear hats. It was so bad. But I did whatever, and I learned a lot.
Yep.
But anyway, I just did whatever it was. Choreography. So in the 80s, I traveled the country choreographing show choirs. So there I was, walking into a room full of kids that I didn't know, learning who they were, teaching discipline, learning discipline because they didn't know me. It was like a first day of school.
Yeah.
And my career has been like that the whole time. I walk into Nebraska NMEA and that's the first day of school. Again, I don't know my kids. I got to get to know them and teach, it's great. So the other way around, then I always tell teachers, now I have the utmost respect because now the teachers that go in every day to the same class, to the same issues, that's a whole other thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just have such respect for that because I eventually, if the good and the bad, I eventually leave it. And they're like going, no, I'm here next week, and then the next week, and then the next week. So I'm always learning from other music educators about, how do you do that? What do you need? What is it? Yeah. So that's why workshops and all this are really good at the conferences.
So then over the years, have you continue to tour and gig, or
Yeah, I don't do it now. I wouldn't want to do it now.
Yeah.
Unless, I don't know, I guess if somebody wanted to do, I don't know, but it's hard. You're riding buses, and when I was with Ray, I was he's a pianist. I opened for him with a singer. We were the opening artist. I took care of product. I was kind of his assistant. And I remember when Sandy, she had asked me, she goes, hey, I want you to, do backup. And I said, well, what exactly do you want me to do? And she looked at me and she goes, well, what did you do for Ray? And I mentioned all these things. She goes, oh, no, you just sing for me. You just sing for me. Well, boy, you better know your stuff when you sing with an artist like that, because I learned such a musical artist. And her dad, here's a little tidbit, my voice teacher in college knew her dad in Oklahoma. So when I got to know her dad, Ron Patty, who was an amazing talent, he just passed away, an amazing talent. I remember going up, he goes, hey, did you know Byron Mitchell? He goes, little Byron Mitchell. So it was so funny when my voice teacher said, I know Sandy's dad. So then when I got to know Sandy's dad, it's just a great connection and talking. And then Ron was a huge, they were a part of everything with Shawnee Press. They knew everything about that and the Fred Waring singers and all of that. Is so her mom and dad so connected with me because they knew I was connected with all that because of Shawnee Press. And it was just such a small world musically,
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and that's the music industry in general.
It's the music industry.
Specifically music education. And
be nice.
Oh my gosh, it's small.
Because you're going to be working with everybody.
Yeah.
Just be nice.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, okay. So then after touring and, you continue.
I was writing. I was doing all of that during it. I would be writing and arranging. Oh my gosh. I've kept every one of my calendars. Yeah. You have to be. And my dad taught me to be a hard worker, and you just have to be. And and then you learn. I just learned so much from all these people I've met and worked with. And, I produce in the recording studios, and I've been with really wonderful artists and had wonderful opportunities to be with different people and see them work, and you learn. I've worked with the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra, where I was in shows and they brought in Broadway artists, and I got to meet them and get to know them and then learn how they work and their work ethic, and all of this I bring to my rehearsals.
Yeah.
All of it. And it's wonderful. And that's why I just love, I'd almost rather talk to the kids and conduct the music some days. I just want to talk to them because they're just hungry for a little bit of direction.
Yeah.
And so, it's been great. 40 years next year, 40 years.
Oh my goodness.
That I began my career.
Wow. That's incredible. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's fly by.
Oh, yes, it's scary. Yeah. And I'm jealous because most of the people I know that I went to school with are retiring. They're like, oh, no, I'm retired. I'm like, I don't even know what that looks like. Don't even know.
Oh, you don't have that. You're too, I
don't understand. Some days, I don't know, some days. But I think it's balance.
Sure.
Take some time off. Because as an artist and as a creator, I got to be able to think. We all do. We have to sit and think and read and listen to music and get filled up again.
Yeah, become inspired.
Yes. And I think teachers need that. That's why it's important that I tell music educators, take the time. If you've got a day that you can take off and it's built in, take it. If you've got summer, really relax, take it in, get rejuvenated, because we do this all over again.
Yeah. You have to fill yourself up so that you can then serve and live again. Yeah. That makes sense. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. We've known each other for years now. I didn't know, about your whole gigging. We've chatted about so many things. My gosh, you have such a rich life. Really, it's not just your life is so
a lot of different things. When people say, "What do you do?" and I hesitate to bring up music because then they because they go, really, music? But my career is basically a long list of side jobs.
Yeah.
Of side hustles. It's what it looks like. If I wrote it all down, they go, oh, do you have a job? Yes.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. One thing people might not know, if I can, bring it up, is the fact that you've been on TV for helping Hoarders. You're on we're on a TV show now.
I know. So the pandemic changed everything. All at once in March, I conducted the last concert at Carnegie Hall, and it shut down the next day.
Wow.
And I left New York. The COVID was on its way. Nobody knew what was going on, but I flew out on a Monday, and on that Thursday, New York was in chaos. And I had 300 kids and a choir, and we were all nervous going, did anybody get sick? Nobody that we know of got sick. I didn't get sick or anything either. But anyway, so literally within days, everything was being canceled. We all know this. But when you have a diverse career, but it's all music, it's not diverse anymore, I realized.
Yeah.
Everything I do is music related, and now, boom. So we discover Zoom. I did workshops with teachers, and I tried to be relevant. So one day in September of 2020, I'm just sitting there, and I go, well, how am I going to be relevant today? What am I going to post? I'll do an interview. I'll do whatever. I know lots of people. I'll interview and put it on a YouTube channel, whatever. So I'm looking, and there was a webinar by Dorothy Brenninger, who is now a dear friend of mine. She's the main organizer on the TV show Hoarders on A&E. And she was doing a webinar on organizing. And I went, I'm organized. I'm very organized. So I'm going to watch that. I know her, and it's live. Well, she and I hit it off on there. We're talking a lot. I don't know who all's on there, but I'm on there, and she keeps looking at my chat, and we're talking and laughing. And so I went, I'll bite. I'm gonna take her class. So I took her class. I got a little certification, not as an organizer, but you get a little certification for taking the class. So I thought, well, I can do this. And I'm like, I don't know if music's ever going to come back. Is it going to be years? I know what's going on, and I got to figure something out. And this is not music. So I started my own business, Maestro Organizing, which I think is a great name.
Great name.
In music.
Yeah.
Maestro Organizing. And I did it. Got on television locally. They did an article about me conducting at Carnegie Hall Music, but then the pandemic pivot. They did that. Dorothy heard that I was on the embassy affiliate in Indy, called me, happened to be on my birthday. She goes, yeah, this just doesn't happen. She goes, I need you on my team. She goes, I'm going to certify you. I'm going to give it to you. We're going to get you certified as an organizer, and I want you to join me on my team, and we'll work together. And I'm like, okay, got nothing else going on. Can't write, can't do anything. Yep. And wasn't feeling like writing. It was very depressing. And so I did that. And then she goes, hey, we're doing a Hoarders episode. Join me. I'll get some organizers together. And then every time she does a show, if I'm able to do it, I go do it. And I learn a lot about Hoarders and about organizing and about how a TV show works and directing. I mean, I'm learning a lot of other things as well. It was wonderful, but it's hardest work I've ever done. It's really hardest. Yeah. Oh, it's really physical. I know, but I can do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why my trainer at the gym, he goes, that's why I'm training you.
Yep.
Go do Hoarders. You'll be good. You'll come back and we'll be all right. So, and I still do it. It's great. I still do that. I still have my organizing business, and I do it if I got, I work it in.
Yeah.
And why not?
Yeah. Again, that's your career of side hustles.
Why not? And it is like what I discovered is when I work with a client, and I discovered this immediately, it was like having a rehearsal. I had all the same feelings. Mm-hmm. So during the pandemic, when I would work, I was organizing, like you do with a choir, you're organizing everything. You're getting things, making all the vowels the same and all the kids. And I did all of that with a room or with a closet or with a garage. And I would leave there feeling happy, like at the end of a rehearsal going, oh, it was such a good rehearsal. I feel so fulfilled. And I would leave there going, this is exactly how I felt at the end of a rehearsal. And I feel it. And the clients are so happy. And then you leave kids so happy. And it was such a connection. That's why I don't want to give it up. It's like, no, it's not music. And I got both now that I can have those great, feelings with.
Yeah.
And feelings of frustration.
Yeah. And really love it. I mean, a common theme here is that you're serving, you're helping people. You're, using your skills and your background. You're teaching.
I'm teaching them how they need to be a better at organizing and whatever. Yeah, it really connects.
Yeah.
So who knew?
Yep, absolutely. Well, Greg, let's chat a little bit more about your music. I guess let's back up there.
All right.
Well, we were talking about this last night.
Yeah.
You have an extensive body of music that, you've done with workshops. You've built a lot of relationships in the industry. Veteran teachers, know your music. If there was, directors in the first few years of teaching and they're still trying to ingest the industry and all the music that's out there.
Yeah.
What do you wish that they knew about your music?
Well, it's very diverse. Look up my name. I write a lot with elementary, middle, high school, a little bit of sacred, and some of my music does transcend into university, and I know that. The sweet spot, and I think it's just because it's needed, is middle school and developing choir with me. I don't purposely do that, but the kids like it. And here's the other thing. Always look for a really good text. It doesn't matter the age group. It's all about the text. And that's what I think. Doesn't matter. Elementary kids want to sound older. They want a good text. They don't want to sound like little babies. Middle school definitely want to be high school. High school want a really good text. They want to sing about something. And I think if you go to my music now, especially, maybe not early on, but now it's always going to be a really good lyric that I've either written or I have found. And it moved me, and it moved me to write music to it. I think that's the number one thing. I know we have to teach Mozart and introduce them to melodies and like that, and a lot of times that's alleluia, alleluia, alleluia. I don't get much out of that other than they need to know that music.
Sure.
And that's all right, but I think if you get a good text and those kids love it and you can talk about it, they're going to want to rehearse. I'm going to want to, learn that music and love it. Even if it's difficult, and kids love difficult music. They do. If they love it, they love to work on it.
Yeah. Then it becomes
so my music is, and so because I work with all ages, I write for all ages.
Sure.
And I love that. And it's elementary music. And I was warned by my wonderful editors. We are nothing without our editors. And I have had incredible editors that are my mentors. And they told me, they go, two-part music, you think that's going to be easy? And I was like, writing something. And they're like, okay, well, let's talk about it. This great piece, but let's talk about the writing. This is early on. And yeah, it's hard. And then when you work with an elementary choir, you realize the teaching that has to happen. And those teachers need good unison two-part music. Even the unison, it needs to be really good. And otherwise, it just... Yeah. So I learned a lot with that. And then, of course, middle school. I mean, it's just everything is needed in middle school. You got to have it all. And you got to be flexible. And I tell teachers, I go, look, one piece doesn't fit every middle school choir. And it won't fit your choir probably in 2 weeks. I mean, it's just the nature of middle school. Things are changing. Yeah. But I go, you have permission to adjust. You can adjust. You can adjust. You have the music. You can adjust it. And then again, you go to high school, completely different animal. And I have learned my beginning music. Now, there's a few pieces at the beginning that I've gone back to and looked at. They may be out of print or whatever, but I've got them. And I'll go, not bad. That's not bad. I would use it now. That's a good text. I would still use that. And then others like going, yeah, okay, that's good. That's good. I learned a lot from that one, of that. And then, but now I feel pretty good about it all. And I think after the pandemic, I just want to write. I don't want to just write to write. And I think there was a little bit of that going, write more. Because now I'm a little more selective with myself. And going, you know what? Just if it's not right, don't write it. Just let it sit. It's okay. It's okay if you don't have this certain number of pieces published this year. Even though the publishers all go, keep writing. We need you. But now I'm kind of going, wait, slow down.
Yeah.
And really think about that piece a little longer.
Yeah,
and that's been great. I've enjoyed doing it that way. I don't have that anxiety a little bit.
Sure.
Like I used to.
Yeah. No, that's intriguing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, if somebody's, this is the first time that they're getting to know you and they're doing a choir, I know, like you said, it's so diverse and it's not every piece works, but can you give us out 3 pieces that you would be a great introduction to your work that, to look at?
Yeah. Little Wheel of Turnin'. It is been around for a while and the boys like it. It's very rhythmic. That is a great little piece that has long legs and it's good for festivals and whatever. And it's in a lot of voicings. The SAB or 3-part mix is really a good one. It's really good. 2 parts good. The SATB, yes, it works, but man, that 3-part SAB is really cool. That is great. That is with Shawnee Press. And then another one with Cola Voce is I did an arrangement of Keep Your Lamps Brimmed and Burning. Spiritual. And that is the 2-part, and again, the 3-part mix SAB. The SATB is good, but I will use the SAB over the SATB even with a high school group. I just like it, and I add percussion to it, and there's just so many musical things you can do with that. The 2-part is really good, and if you've got a young high school choir that isn't great yet, and it's a pandemic issue of not having music, that is a good one to go to even with high school. It's really good. And then, there's another with Lorenz that I did that was really fun it's all vocal speech. Zoom Golly Golly.
Okay.
Great one. Because it's vocal speech and it has a flute. No, it does have a little singing in it. Sorry. It's got singing in it, but it's got a lot of vocal speech in it. And that's a really fun one as well. And last one that people know me by is Why We Sing. That was a big piece. That has been done all over the world. And it was done during the pandemic. There were so many incredible Zoom choirs or virtual choirs that did that.
I bet that was just
there was one, and it was an emotional time.
Yeah,
I was feeling like, wow, I don't know if we're going to keep doing this. And then there was a German director reached out, and they go, hey, I need the instrumental parts. We have a German orchestra. We're putting together something. And I'm going, okay. I sent it to them, didn't hear back. Then they sent me the Zoom, or they sent me the virtual choir, and they go, we did it. They did it with an orchestra in Berlin, all virtual, a Berlin Children's Choir, LA Children's Choir, Sydney Children's Choir, an Arabic Children's Choir. Where was that? I might even Dubai and Philippines. They all sing Why We Sing together with it's incredible. It's on the YouTube.
Yeah.
It is.
I link it here. Yeah.
It was so emotional for me. She only heard that during the pandemic.
Seriously.
And then I go back to going, oh my goodness. So sometimes I go on there and I'll type in just to see who's singing what. And I'm just amazed. And you could, all the writers need to do this. You just are amazed that your music is being sung in different places all over the world and you don't even know it.
And what a interesting way to connect around the world. The civic, that's remarkable.
That is watching these videos with these children everywhere. It's a beautiful video that they put together. Yeah. So anyway, that is a great piece. And I know there's lots of new teachers that don't know that piece. It's been around a long time, but it's one of my proudest. I'm very proud of it. And I'm glad that it's used a lot. Everybody goes, write another one. And I try, but people just like Why We Sing.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. It's good to be known for something like that. So yeah, those would be great pieces to begin with. But I'm telling you, if you type my name and, you can look up Popplers on their website, you'll get lots of help with the things that have done well, and they'll help you.
Well, Greg, thank you so much for meeting today.
This is great.
Being here, and thank you for everything you do for music education.
Thank you for everything you guys do, because you are a gem in your more than one state. I mean, you're multi-state and international with Canada, but you guys have one of the best, and always have one of the best reading sessions. You have it at your store. You bring in wonderful people. You really know your market. You know your people. They know you. You are this isn't usual anymore. We don't have you anymore like that, like we used to. Oh. And so I hope I know the people there appreciate you, but I really appreciate you as a writer and what you do for music education as a dealer.
Yeah. Well, Popplers has been around for over 115 years now.
Yeah.
And
doing better than ever.
Yes. It's really my honor to lead the company and do the work that we do. So thank you.
You're doing great. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning into the Popplers Music Podcast. We hope today's conversation sparked new ideas and reminded you why your work matters. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe. Share it with a fellow educator or musician and leave us a review. It helps more music lovers find us. For more resources, sheet music, instruments, and support for your program, visit us at popplersmusic.com. Until next time.